Alright guys, let's make some sick speakers. What you're going to need is some acoustic pads, some vinyl wrap, 2 different types, a tape measure, some Allen keys, a Sharpie, a sharp knife, a screwdriver, an air bubble spreader, and the most important thing, coffee of course. So let's go on to step 1 and remove all the screws from your speakers. If you use a little ramekin or something to keep the screws in so they don't get lost. Put those to one side, spin it around, take off the plastic shielding for the subwoofer. There's more screws under there. Make sure they're in a ramekin or something. If you pull the speaker off, detach the wires. They just pull off, but they're a bit stubborn. Put the subwoofer to one side. Take out the tweeter. Put your hand through the hole and unplug the LED. And just leave that dangling. Then you should be safe to remove the back plate. Inside there'll be some acoustic foam that comes standard. If you just take that out and save it for later. Now you need to take the vinyl off. So using a sharp knife, if you cut along the guideline on the bottom, it'll mean you'll be able to pull it off quickly. Now, I spent about 3 hours pulling this off. It was ridiculous. And then I realized that if I add some heat, it'll be able to pull off quickly. And honestly, if I did that from the get-go, this whole thing would have been so much quicker. Because I didn't for the first bit, it was really messy, so definitely clean that up. Take one of your panels. Because it's too big to go in, you have to cut it down to size, which is kind of annoying. But inside the speaker itself, there are little wooden bits that connect to the back and the sides. So it means that they don't fit flush if you just go with like a rectangle, if you see what I mean. So you have to like cut little notches out. So let's get cracking. Cut it in half, mark a line to fit it into the bottom. Draw little notches for where the wood bits are. Put it in to make sure it fits. Put it down, stick it on, and then do the same for the bottom. Once you've done that, you can then go onto the sides, which are a little bit more tricky, but it's not that hard. Goes there. Draw the arc on the underside around the hole so that I know exactly where to cut out. It's not the neatest thing, but no one's gonna see it, so honestly it really doesn't matter that much. It just helps improve that low end of these speakers. So now to the fun bit, the vinyl. Measure up, make sure it covers about an inch over the speaker. Lay it down flat, make sure it fits over. Doesn't have to be the neatest thing, so we'll cut around it with a knife in a minute. Peel back slightly. Just lift it over the edge, again about an inch over the top. Get your tools, flatten it out from the top. And if you pull slowly on the white, adhesive-y thing, it should allow you to spread the rest of it on nicely. And then you can get a knife and just go around the edge to make sure it's flush. Peel that off, flip it up, do the inside. Now this gets a bit tricky, but it doesn't have to be the neatest thing here because you're going to trim it down anyway. If you use a hairdryer and get your thumb and go from the top over the corner, and so it folds down nice and neatly, you can then trim the inside. I just put the back plate in just to see how flush it was, and to be honest, it fit perfectly, so really chuffed. Moving on to the top side, do the same with the vinyl, exactly the same as you did with the bottom. Use a hairdryer, put your fingers in the holes, cut out a bit of the LED and slice off any excess. Now if you cut a long bit that goes all the way around the sides, stick it from the bottom side in the middle, just overlap in the middle, and go all around the edge using the air bubble spreader. And then use a knife to remove any excess. Onto the little subwoofer speaker cover. I used a cream for this bit.
cut it to size, cut round it, peel it off, stick it on, get rid of any air bubbles. That bit took ages because it's slightly curved, it took forever. Now I cut little rims out the edge to make it easier to stick over. Cut out the middle, made some screw holes, and we sliced off any excess. Using a compass, do all your measuring and make sure there's a circle cut out in the middle. That's going to go over the tweeter plate. Cut it out, take off the screws, take off the tweeter itself. Be really careful of that bit because if you damage the tweeter, you'll have to buy a new one. I think they're about £25 online, but it's just, you don't want to do that. So once that's on, screw it all back together, get rid of the air bubbles. Now you should be ready to reassemble. I put the original foam back in as well, just for extra sound absorption. Screw the back plate in, and then flip it over. Connect the LED, and then aligning your subwoofer at the bottom. The red one goes to the big one, the black one goes to the small one. You have to use this little backplate thing to work out which screw goes where. Pretty self-explanatory. Screw that in, put those weird bolts on, and use the Allen key to get that back on. Same with the tweeter. Wires go at the bottom. Put in your little LED thing at the end, and you should be good to go.